Hi, it's DeeBee Daws, and I'm living welderly with positivity by aging with purpose and changing by design. John chapter 15, verse 7 reads, "If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you." How do we abide in him, and are we a reflection of his words? This is a powerful promise we are given, and I would suggest that we spend some time thinking about those two questions. How can I abide in Christ, and am I a reflection of his words? I have a true story about the power of prayer, and it's called I Need Help. It's about a woman named Helen Roosevelt. She was a missionary doctor who spent 20 years in the Congo at a clinic and orphanage. She lived through being brutally beaten, raped, and captured by Congo rebels. She used her captivity to encourage others who felt powerless to defend themselves against unimaginable acts of evil. When Helen had been there almost 4 years, a mother died in labor, leaving behind a premature baby and a 2-year-old girl. The facility had no incubator or electricity. Dr. Roosevelt's first task was to keep the newborn warm. She sent a midwife to fetch a hot water bottle. The nurse returned with bad news. The bottle had burst when she filled it. Even worse, that was the last bottle. Dr. Roosevelt instructed the midwife to sleep near the newborn. They would seek a solution the next day. A solution was not easily found. The clinic was in the heart of the jungle. Help was many miles away. The life of the newborn was in jeopardy. The following noon, the doctor mentioned the concern to the orphans. He told them of the frail baby and the sad sister, and they prayed. A 10-year-old girl named Ruth decided on her own to take the problem to Jesus. "Please, God, send us a hot water bottle. It'll be no good tomorrow, God, because the baby will be dead. So please send it this afternoon. And while you're about it, would you please send a dolly to the little 2-year-old sister so she'll know you really love her?" The doctor was stunned. That prayer could only be answered by the arrival of a parcel from home. After nearly 4 years at the clinic, she'd never received a single package. Even if one came, who would send a hot water bottle to the equator? Someone did. Later that afternoon, a 22-pound package was delivered to Helen's door. As she called the children, she felt tears in her eyes. Could it be? They pulled off the string and unwrapped the paper. In the box, they found bandages, jerseys, raisins, sultanas, and a brand new hot water bottle. And at the bottom of the box, a doll for the little girl. The box had been shipped 5 months earlier. It was packed by Helen's former Sunday school class, whose leader had heard and obeyed God's prompting to send a hot water bottle. Have you ever listened to God and obeyed an unusual prompting? Do you know someone like Dr. Helen Roosevelt? Someone always willing to sacrifice everything for others? Recognizing the needs of others and acting upon them with charity is a profound expression of our shared humanity. It begins with empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Empathy allows us to perceive the struggles and challenges that others face, even when they're different from our own. This awareness is the first step toward effective charity. To truly recognize the needs of others, one must be observant and attentive. Often these needs are not overly expressed, but can be discerned through subtle cues, body language, expressions of distress, or changes in behavior. Listening actively and engaging in meaningful conversations can reveal underlying issues that require support. Once a need is recognized, the next step is to take action. Charitable actions can take many forms, ranging from financial assistance to offering time, skills, or emotional support. Monetary donations can alleviate immediate financial burdens, but charity is not limited to financial aid. Volunteering time to help with chores, providing a listening ear, or sharing knowledge can be equally impactful. Effective charity also involves understanding the best ways to help. This might mean collaborating with established organizations that have the expertise and infrastructure to address specific needs. It could also involve direct action like organizing community events, mentoring, or providing educational resources. The key is to offer help in a way that respects the dignity and autonomy of those receiving it. Acting upon charity with intentionality and consistency can create a ripple effect inspiring others to do the same. This collective effort can lead to significant positive changes within communities. By prioritizing the needs of others and integrating charitable actions into our daily lives, we contribute to a more compassionate and supportive society. Ultimately, recognizing and acting upon the needs of others through charity enriches both the giver and the receiver. It fosters a sense of connection and purpose, reminding us that we are all part of an interconnected human family. In this way, charity transcends mere acts of kindness, becoming a fundamental principle that guides us toward a more empathetic and just world. Once there were two young brothers who had spent all their lives in the city and had never even seen a field or pasture. So one day they decided to take a trip into the countryside. As they were walking along, they spied a farmer plowing, and they were puzzled about what he was doing. What kind of behavior is this? They asked themselves. This fellow marches back and forth all day, scarring the earth with long ditches. Why should anyone destroy such a pretty meadow like that? Later in the afternoon, they passed the same place again, and this time they saw the farmer sowing grains of wheat in the furrows. Now what is he doing? They asked themselves. He must be a madman. He's taking perfectly good wheat and tossing it into these ditches. The country's no place for it, said one of the brothers. The people here act as if they had no sense. I'm going home. And he went back to the city. But the second brother stayed in the country, and a few weeks later saw a wonderful change. Fresh green shoots began to cover the field with a lushness he had never imagined. He quickly wrote to his brother and told him to hurry back and see the miraculous growth. So his brother returned from the city, and he too was amazed at the change. As the days passed, they saw the green earth turn into a golden field of tall wheat, and now they understood the reason for the farmer's work. Then the wheat grew ripe, and the farmer came with his scythe and began to cut it down. The brother, who had returned from the city, couldn't believe it. What is this imbecile doing? He exclaimed. All summer long, he worked so hard to grow this beautiful wheat, and now he's destroying it with his own hands. He's a madman after all. I've had enough. I'm going back to the city. But his brother had more patience. He stayed in the country and watched the farmer collect the wheat and take it to his granary. He saw how cleverly he separated the chaff and how carefully he stored the rest. And he was filled with awe when he realized that by sowing a bag of seed, the farmer had harvested a whole field of grain. And then did he truly understand that the farmer had a reason for everything he did. And this is how it is with God's work too, he said. We mortals see only the beginnings of his plan. We cannot understand the full purpose and the end of his creation. So we must have faith in his wisdom. Faith is not about everything turning out okay. Faith is about being okay no matter how things turn out. It can be like a steadfast companion guiding you through life's uncertainties and triumphs, offering solace and reminding you that you are never truly alone. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. Trust that your path, though unseen, is leading you to where you need to be. Faith is not the absence of doubt, but the decision to move forward despite it, even in times of uncertainty. Faith can provide the strength to continue." An Indian poet said, Faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark. It's the light in the darkest times, giving us hope and resilience to persevere. Faith is a state of openness or trust. It brings inner peace, allowing us to trust in the flow of life. Faith is believing that the outcome will be beneficial, regardless of how it may appear initially. It helps us believe in a greater good, even when immediate circumstances seem unfavorable. Faith is the daring of the soul to go further than it can see. With faith, we gain the courage to face and overcome challenges. Faith gives us the strength to pursue our dreams, knowing that every step we take is purposeful. It imbues our actions with a sense of purpose and direction. Dan Millman said, "Faith means living with uncertainty, feeling your way through life, letting your heart guide you like a lantern in the dark." Faith teaches us patience, trusting that things will unfold at the right time. Faith is the recognition that we are part of something greater than ourselves. It connects us to a higher power, a universal truth, or a deeper wisdom. C.S. Lewis said, "Faith is the art of holding on to things in spite of your changing moods and circumstances." It helps us to heal and renew, providing a steady anchor through life's ebbs and flows. This is a poem called "The Captain's Daughter," and it's by James T. Fields. It reminds us that sometimes the youngest inspire us the most in their trust of a higher power. We were crowded in the cabin, not a soul would dare to sleep. It was midnight on the waters, and a storm was on the deep. 'Tis a fearful thing in winter to be shattered by the blast, and to hear the rattling trumpet thunder, "Cut away the mast." So we shuddered there in silence, for the stoutest held his breath, while the hungry sea was roaring, and the breakers talked with death. As thus we sat in darkness, each one busy with his prayers, "We are lost," the captain shouted, as he staggered down the stairs. But his little daughter whispered as she took his icy hand, "Isn't God upon the ocean just the same as on the land?" Then we kissed the little maiden, and we spoke in better cheer, and we anchored safe in harbor when the morn was shining clear. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back next week. Look for me on your favorite podcast channel, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and of course my website, www.livingwelderly.com. I welcome your comments. If you have a subject you'd like me to cover, please feel free to let me know in those comments. In the meantime, have a wonderful day, living welderly with positivity.